Hey, Composing Gloves here. This is the 22nd tutorial in the Massive from the Ground Up tutorial series. And today we will be talking about the KTR OSC, which stands for Key Tracking Oscillator. So to get to it, it's a tab and you just go to it. I'm assuming you've probably seen some of my other videos by now. So you should be actually really familiar with Massive at this point. You should know what almost everything does. And so if you come to the Key Tracking Oscillator, what this is used for is for mapping pitch on for the response. So say if you're using FL Studios as I am, your piano roll would be relative to this. Or if you have a keyboard, which I also have set up, a MIDI controller, you would also be able to map the pitch onto that. And so we're going to talk about that right now. So right here you have your keys linked from 0 to 127, and you have the pitch mapped 0 to 127. And you have these different sources, linear, user, and off, with various buttons to activate them. And you have target, which would be your oscillators, your 3 oscillators, your modulating oscillator, and also your insert effects. So if you were to say you want an oscillator 1 right now, it's at 0, 0, so it's going to trigger the lowest note. If I were to hit a note down there, and vice versa, 127, 127 would be the highest note available. My keyboard doesn't go that high, but it would go that high if I had a keyboard that was that length. So if I wanted to change that, I could go over to user on target oscillator 1, and I could say, oh, I want these notes to be lower when I hit them. Bang, done. And you could even change how they're responded. And you can even have, like, as you can see here, some very fine pitch changes that only change very little, which could be useful for sound design purposes. If you double click one of these boxes, it will automatically go to where that box is. If you right click, you create a box, and if you right click a box, you delete it. If you hold down Alt, you move it up and down exclusively. If you hold down Shift, you can move it very finely back and forth, up and down, if you're making very fine changes. And if you hold down Alt and Shift, you can only move it up or down, and it's, I don't know, more fine? I don't know. Yeah, it's more fine. Shift helps with that too. That's the first time I've ever tried combining those, because I hardly ever use this option. So that's the user, so you can change how things are mapped. It's weird. Also, linear, you cannot edit at all. That's like default. Well, if you have a user, if you've made a user preset, you can't make another. They are the same for all of them. So that's how the user envelope works. And then also you can turn it off, and it will move it straight to a middle C. So no matter what key you hit, what the incoming pitch is, it will always come out as an oscillator, it'll always come out as a 64. As a middle C, it'll always come out at that pitch. And you could do that using the user envelope by double clicking. It'll always come out at that pitch. And there are various reasons you could use this for, like, say you want some pitch, say you want like this pitch to be something, but you want this pitch to be something. Well, you could leave this on linear, so it still behaves that way, especially if you're doing some type of modulation. And then you can change the modulating oscillator and like move it around to whatever pitch you want that to be. And then all of a sudden your modulation will not be affected by what key you're hitting over here, which could be really useful. You could get some really unique results and things that people would not be able to do any other way. And I guarantee you probably not very many people do that. So you'd probably get some pretty unique results. Also, you can do this for the insert effects. So check this out. If we turn it on linear and turn our insert effects on, and we go to like sample and hold, turn it all the way wet, you can hear it affecting, as we've talked about. But if you turn on user, now the effect will be at a lower pitch. Oh, that's modulating oscillator. User on the insert effects. And the original pitch still gets through, but which means this also gives way to that. This does not take all the signal. Some of the dry signal still gets through. Oh, I guess that's the definition of wet dry. You could sort of hear it in there. Maybe it doesn't let any signal through. Now I can't tell. But anyways, you can change the pitch through an insert effect. That's like mind-blowing to me. it's not that noticeable on some. But it's very noticeable, and it almost defies why you would use it on like for frequency shift. But that's what that does. So you can do that, and that blows my mind. So that is the key tracking oscillator. If you enjoy these tutorials, subscribe and have a blessed day.